I started using this all-in-one palette 2 weeks ago, and my routine has gotten so much easier. So I'm going to show you guys how to apply cream makeup. First things first, you always want to prep your skin. So I use an antioxidant serum. It's very lightweight, but it gives a really beautiful glow. I accidentally put my sunscreen on first, so you want to do your serum and prep first, and then your sunscreen last. So you always want to do thickest last. So just 2 pumps of this glow serum to really give me that extra glow. So if you're over 30, definitely start prepping your skin. Don't ever put makeup on just like bare skin, especially cream makeup. Brushes, you don't need this many brushes. I did just order some Saint brushes that are all double-sided. So for this tutorial, I'll be using these brushes. I'm going to start with my contour shade. So this is going to be more cool tones. I'm going to use this smaller brush so I can place it right where I want it. I'm going to angle from the top of my ear and kind of angle it down towards the outer part of my lip and almost like a little circular motion. I'll do that on both sides. We don't want to get this contour too low because it'll make our face look sagging. Option 2 is to contour the nose just to make it look thinner. But of course, whatever is your preference, feel free to do. You don't have to do every step that I do on this video. If you do one step though, don't skip under the lip. Put that contour under the lip, it'll give the illusion of a juicy lip. So definitely don't skip that step. Okay, then on the forehead, this is gonna make your forehead go from a 5 to a 4. So if you have a large forehead, definitely contour your forehead. If you have a smaller forehead, you can just contour right up through here. So you can blend all that in if you want to, but I like to go in then with my highlight shade, the lightest, which is my concealer. So I'm gonna put that on my inner corner and on my outer corner. And that's gonna give a nice little lift. And then I'm gonna kind of blend what I put on the inner and what I put on the outer. I'm gonna kind of press and blend that in, and I'll do this on both sides. And this is in the shade Linen. I like a really bright under eye concealer because it makes me look less tired. You can also highlight the chin and kind of bring it down the bridge of your nose. Of course, this is just preference. Now your highlight for your full face. So Saint calls their shades highlight, which highlight foundation, highlight concealer. So now I'll go into my foundation shade. I'm gonna go right in with the brush, and I'm gonna place this right in the areas where I did not put my contour or my highlight. You don't wanna put it over your bronzer though, because then or over your contour, because it'll disappear. So we're just putting it under and around. And cream foundation is super forgiving. So it's easy to, like, if a shade is too light, or if a shade is too light, you can blend a little bit of your contour in with it. If your shade is too dark, you can grab your highlight shade and blend it in with it. So there's a lot of go-arounds to get the perfect match, but I love cream foundations, and this one specifically does not settle in my pores, and it melts so perfectly right into your skin. So that is semi-blended. I'm gonna go in now and blend out my contour, and I'm pressing it in. So I press everything into my skin. I don't swirl it around. I press it so then the pigment stays right where I want it. Same thing with the contour. I'm pressing it up and out, and I do the leftovers under my chin and kind of down my neck. And if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, I'll bring some of that contour across my lid as well to get more of a monochromatic look. And then same thing on the other side. So that's all blended out. Don't forget to blend the lip contour. I'm just using an eyeshadow brush, but once I get my Saint brushes, I won't need to use this many brushes, but just don't forget to blend that out. Then I'm gonna go back in with the brush I used for my full coverage shade and just make sure everything gets blended together, but I'm not going to go over the contour. I'm just gonna kind of go over the edges around my concealer, edges see around here, and then any edges like up through here. Then I go in with bronzer. So bronzer is the more warm tone, so it'll give that sun-kissed look. So I'm gonna take my brush that I used to blend out my contour, and I'm just gonna dab a little bit of that. Also, if you don't wanna get too much, if you're worried about the color being too pigmented, you can always brush a little bit off on the back of your hand and then go in from there. Bronzer, I kind of do right below the contour. This is going to be a little bit more like bold. So like I said, it's that more sun-kissed look. I'm going to be a little bit more messier with this too. So this goes right on top of the contour. If you have a large forehead, you can bring it down even a little bit more. Okay, so that really brings some warmth back to my face and gives me that nice tan look. Blush, I use my finger to place the blush. I'm actually going to mix 2 colors. So I'm going to go Madrid up on my high points, and then Pink Grapefruit with my other finger. 1, 2, 3. The higher your blush, the more lift it's going to give. You can also put the blush more on the apples of your cheeks for like a more like youthful, fuller look, but I like my blush to give me a lift. And then the leftovers of those blushes, I actually just mix the 2 and place them on my lips, and then I'll top it with a gloss. So these blushes are actually for your lip and your cheek. My arm is tired from holding my bangs up. Okay, same brush as I used for bronzer and contour, so I just want to make sure I get the excess off. And I'm gonna apply my blush, pressing it in and then up. I don't want the blush to droop down too much, so I'm pressing it up and out through my temple. And then, like I said, you can bring the blush over as far as you want. That's just a personal preference, so sometimes I will kind of just drag it across And then I like to put my blush on my eyelids as well. So this is Pink Grapefruit and Madrid. And then I'll warm up my fingers and go in and just press that concealer in. There's so many different ways to apply the cream. This is the way that I've been doing it over the last 2 weeks. And then don't forget to set your makeup, especially cream makeup, especially if you live in the South. So I'm gonna set with a mist. I'm gonna let it dry down a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in with my brush. This cream makeup has literally blown my mind over the last 2 weeks. I am loving it so much. I now will just do brows, mascara, some lip gloss, and that's it. So it is super easy, all compact. So everything is in this little compact right here with the mirror. And the compacts do come in different sizes and different patterns. So I have the 8, so I can fit 8 tins in here. If you guys are looking for a color match, just drop the word match and I'll get you matched for contour, bronzer, blush, your highlight, and your foundation shade.